you've been to some fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor. I'll sit down, I'll sit down, I'll sit down, sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 sympathy.
Evening all, evening. Lee should be here at some point. You know, Lee, latest is greatness. There we go. Never mind. Kenny, thanks for joining as always. Aaron, Kenny, how you doing, my friend?
Mute.
It's been like goodish. It's been like an interesting week. We had the big game with Liverpool, and we progressed, and we're now into the quarterfinals yesterday. So there's been a lot of talking points. You know, goals that should have been disallowed or not. And players who should have been selected yesterday or not. But, you know, the one thing that a lot of Arsenal fans are excited about is Nwaneri's performance and goal. So it's win-win, you know, yesterday.
Totally agree, mate. Aaron, how you doing, man? I watched your show the other day, post-match review. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, no, not too bad, Jez. Yeah, it's all been good today. Had a bit of a better one today. I had a little bit of a bad day on the Tuesday, and do you know what? One of the things I will say is, because some of the people are in your chat, I will say thank you to them people that came and watched that, because it actually pulled me out of it. I left that sort of stream after with a smile on my face after having a bit of a bad day. So thank you to them. But yeah, I'm having a good one today. Apologies in advance if you hear any knocks or a bit of shouting. It's Halloween today, Jez, and my front door has already been terrorised. So yeah, if you can hear anything or anything go off, yeah, apologies in advance, mate. But yeah, thanks, all good, and I hope you're the same, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I was just watching earlier actually all the little kiddies out there in their outfits going around knocking on the door. We usually do Halloween, but the wife's gone up to the daughter's, so she said to me, do you want me to pop some decorations outside the house for you? And I said, yeah, I think that look a little bit weird, don't you? Some old geezer, right? So I said, hey, don't mind when the grandkids are here. That's cool. But,
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I mean? I don't go down well, to be honest.
Funny.
Anyway, Kenny, good result last night. Preston North End, two individual teams playing against each other. You know, and that's something in history, isn't it? Really, but we got it over the line, 3-0. Pretty easy. Didn't really do a lot, did they? Let's be honest. And where he scores another goal, mate. What do you think about it?
Well, yeah, you know, he's hungry. You know, Mick Arteta even remarks about it, how a site that, you know, the players want to pass to him and they're looking to get the ball to him. So it shows that they trust him, and it shows that they don't have to, you know, nurse him for a football match. So I was really pleased with it, and I loved his goal. The only bugbear is that I'm going to have a go. Thank God I had my computer with me alongside it, because I knew Sky Sports Plus.
Yes.
Sort your lives out. There's a lot of viewer complaints that you know, we subscribe to Sky Sports, and then all of a sudden a lot of people will go in technical issues when they're trying to watch the match. So as I said before, you know, sort yourselves out, because that is duplicitous behaviour. But that's my own bugbear. But in terms of performance, very pleased. We did what we had to do. You know, we started slowly, but when we got the first goal, we were looking to blow them out of the water, which we should do. That was how an Arsenal team should play. Don't get me wrong, it's Preston, but we showed yesterday why Preston were a 16th in the championship, and why we're I think what were we, third or fourth in the table, in the table. And it's a lack of class. So golfing and class that showed, and that's what Arsenal should always do. Always do. They're motivated. Got no problem with the motivation. I thought Jesus could have done with a couple more goals rather than the goal he scored, and I thought Sterling could have done with a goal as well, because they showed a lot of endeavour, but what's going to hurt them this season is going to be things like, end product, because that's what frustrates fans, and I think that frustrated quite a few fans because they got into some really beautiful positions.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah. Just jump in here. Oregon Dell, mate, you're a legend. Absolute legend. Anybody who's just received a free channel membership from Dale, please go and show him some love. He's a top guy. I've really enjoyed doing our watch-alongs together. That may change in the near future. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that another time, about changing things up a bit. But Aaron, good result, 3-0. Got it over the line. I was a little bit worried that maybe we're going to throw this game in the bin. But respect to Mikel Arteta, he didn't. He went out there, showed the intensity that what we need to do is get it over the line and do the job. So we did it, and we move on. And give me your opinion. I mean, I really like this young lad, Ethan Nwaneri. I really like him. He to me, he's got intensity. He's showing he really wants this. But my concern about this is I reckon he'll be benched again on the weekend.
Yeah. Look, I'm really pleased with how he's sort of developing and showing really that most importantly he doesn't look out of place, does he? That's sort of sometimes when you sort of get a youngster come on and you don't blame him. Sorry.
A young kid, sorry to interrupt you.
That's
for
right.
a young kid, he looks quite natural. He looks quite at home. And people asking in the chat, I don't know where Lee is. He's probably fallen asleep or something. I don't know. I hope he hasn't been washed away in the horrible floods out in Spain. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, sorry, Aaron.
No, you're good, mate. But yeah, that's sort of one of the things when you see the youngsters sort of come in. And like I said, you don't really blame them, for maybe coming and making their debut or just making their first couple of appearances for the Premier League, where they sort of start playing it a bit safe. You can understand that. But Ethan is absolutely anything but safe, is he? He wants to show what he can do. It's almost like training ground for him, almost like he doesn't really feel much pressure. Every time I've sort of seen him come on as a sub or start, one of the first things he sort of done, I think, was at Leicester when it was 2-2 or something like that. He came on, dribbled, beat a man, long 35-yard or whatever it was, shot on effort on goal, and a good effort at that. He wants to do something, He wants to beat his man. As soon as he gets the ball, he wants to drive forward. And it's actually a real refreshing thing to see, considering lately our midfield has just been anything but that. We've sort of had 3 central defensive midfielders really in there that, their strengths aren't really to definitely not beat men, but, really sort of press forward and dribble. So it's really been refreshing to see from him. And you're right, I actually do agree with you, Jez. I think it wouldn't surprise anyone if we see him subbed against Newcastle, and that's a little bit frustrating. I mean, what I think Arteta sometimes tries to do almost like the Guardiola-esque sort of management of like what he done with Phil Foden. He was really sort of slow in bringing him through. Now, some people might sort of say that turned out to be a good thing because player of the season last year, but we haven't got the luxuries and the quality of Manchester City squad to be able to. If someone's coming in and showing, wow, he's looking like a really real player here, we haven't got the luxury to go, yeah, you can just sit on the bench, mate. We kind of need, especially with Odegaard out and no real other replacement for him, we actually need someone like this in the team now. We can't really afford to have him sat on this bench. And again, every time he's come on, but he's started again, it might only be against Preston. That's fine. People will say that. But he can't do anything else against another team. That's who we've got on that day. All he can do is play well against the teams in front of him. And so far, he's done that every time, Ethan Nwaneri. And he can't ask more of a question than Mikel Arteta than putting it in the top corner, can he, from 20-25 yards? I do hope we see him because, I think that Newcastle game is going to be a very, very, very tight, contested game. As we've seen there going there in previous years, it's not going to be an end-to-end attacking game of basketball, is it? And we might just need that sort of type of player in Ethan Nwaneri to unlock something, but yeah, look, overall, I'm sort of really glad of the young lad. And yeah, we just sort of all hope that Mikel Arteta can put a little bit more faith in him, because we know he doesn't sort of like to trust any players out of his usual start 11, if you want to call that. But yeah, I do hope we see him, mate. 100%.
I want to see him start at the weekend.
Yeah.
I think he's proved it. I think he's got his medal. You know, Kenny, Lewis Skelly, another one. You know, I think he's decent.
I thought it showed that the fact that Shevchenko started isn't actually detrimental to Lewis Skelly. What it showed is that Lewis Skelly's probably ahead of him in a pecking order for the moment.
Yeah,
because you only have to look at the last two games. Last season, one in Europe. Lewis Skelly was the one who came on, and against Liverpool, one of the biggest games in our calendar. Lewis Skelly was on instead of Shevchenko. So I don't know if Shevchenko was fit or not, but if he's fully fit, even if he's half fit, he gets on before Lewis Skelly. So I wasn't surprised Lewis Skelly, like I said, didn't start the game, because I suppose when you talk about rotation and the amount of games, he's one of the ones, because he hasn't played that lot. You want to sort of ease him into games. But Lewis Skelly will get a lot of games this season, and I think so would Nwaneri. I was actually in Hornsey Rise earlier, and one guy who was working, I think it's DHL. He just said hello, and then he recognised me. He started talking about the show, and he started talking about Arsenal, how he thinks we're going to do, and what was I thinking about Arteta? I said, if Arteta doesn't rotate, then it's going to be detrimental to us. You only have to look at Man City, the amount of injuries they got, and this guy rotates. I tell you now, every player in that 25 has to get games. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yep.
When you talk about, oh yeah, we're going to drop a few levels, he can't play, I think it's a necessity now. Can you imagine if you played Thomas Partey in every game?
No, ain't going to work.
Can you imagine if you try to do that with Saka?
No.
It'll do it, but at what cost? But you look at the players that he hasn't rotated, and look what's happened. Odegaard rarely rotated. Look what happened, big injury.
Yeah,
that's Gabriel Magalhaes, big injury. Fatigue. Timber, is
struggling.
Benjamin White struggle as well. This schedule is obscene. It's obscene. Don't get me wrong. It's exciting for the football fan that he's getting big games every 2 to 3 days, but it's going to be at a cost. I think it's going to be this championship. If we carry on like we did, and no team rotated, it'll be a case of a team just changing the position in the league every 5 seconds. The team that rotates is the team that's probably going to go on and win the title.
Yeah, well, Man City have got that. We haven't. It's going to be interesting. And you just brought up, actually, now before we get on to that about Saka, young goalkeeper yesterday didn't really get too much pressure on him. I thought he looked pretty solid. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, no disrespect at all to Preston North End, but they weren't up for the job against Arsenal. And the team he put out, I mean, he obviously, in my interpretation of this, Aaron, he went for it, but he had the backup guard. Do you know what I mean? He had the old guard there that if he needed them, he could get it over the line, which I'll give him credit for that. He didn't go in all guns blazing with the big boys. He actually said, I'll give you a run. Get in trouble, then I've got you boys, you can come on. So I actually thought Setford was a good thing to do. That's going to give him confidence, right? First start. And the fact the way the team performed, I think they did a bloody good job, to be honest.
Yeah, look, sorry. Yeah, look, to touch on Setford as well is, I mean, one of the words you said is sort of confidence, that I was sort of going to come in there. Look, you've nailed it as well. He didn't have loads to do. The goal wasn't peppered. He might have had, I think, 2 shots maybe on target, saved, none of them from spectacular sort of efforts. But you know, I may have misread this, but I don't think that was just his Arsenal debut. I think that was his professional debut. I may be wrong there, but you know, I think I read that he didn't make a professional game for Ajax, so I think this is his first, you know, first professional game. But it was definitely his Arsenal debut, of course. And look, he's come out with a clean sheet. That's going to breed confidence for the young lad. Now, you know, is he going to be now starting regular games? Of course he's not. But, you know, he'd have much rather having a nice clean sheet and a bit more of a comfortable night than dropping a clanger and going 1-0 down. You know, something like that would be detrimental to a young sort of lad making his debut. So, you know, look, fair dues, he looks solid. You know, he done all right. Yeah, look, we can't sort of knock the lad. You know, he's going to come out there with a clean sheet. He's going to be absolutely buzzing. He's just made his Arsenal debut and kept a clean sheet on it. Regardless of how his career goes down or whatever, it's going to be something that he's going to tell people probably for the rest of his life, you know, because it's the Arsenal and he's got a clean sheet from it. So it's a fair dues, good lad. I want to touch as well on Martin Lewis Skelly. Fair dues to him as well. You know, I know Ethan Nwaneri's taken a lot of the, you know, the plaudits and quite rightly so. You know, I think the attackers with, you know, a bit of flair will always sort of be noticed a bit more. But one of the things about us rotating and that I think Lewis Skelly, might come in handy is because he can play a couple of positions, almost sort of like Ainsley Maitland-Niles-esque, but maybe a little bit sort of better on the ball in that you're seeing him at left back. You know, he can do a job in midfield. Maybe even, I don't know, but maybe even we'll see him on the other flank at right back if needs be. I don't know. But what I do know is squads, and especially winning squads, probably need players like that. You know, your utility guy coming through, he's going to be buzzing for the minutes. Let's get it right, because this is breakthrough season, if you want to sort of call it that. He's an Arsenal boy. He's going to give 110% every time he plays. And I'm quite happy with sort of how he's ticking over as well nicely. You know, like what Ken said, I think you said it, he might be keeping Zinchenko out the squad, who Arteta's, you know, got a previous with at Man City. He's bought him, spent a few quid on him, you know, and he must maybe trust this young lad enough to sort of keep him out the squad. And fair dues to him, you know, some of these youngsters. I think it was a good idea from Mikel Arteta as well, like what you said, Jez, to have these sort of players on the bench where, you know, if it goes, wow, it's going a little bit pear-shaped here, or it's starting to knock at, you know, 60s and the 70th minutes, and we're drawing, you know, to just have these players on there, or God forbid, you know, go 1-0 down or whatever, to sort of have that on there. And that's how I sort of want us to go in this competition when we draw these teams. Now, if we'd have drawn a Liverpool or a Manchester United or a Spurs, I don't want to see that side. I want to see our strongest side, because I don't want to throw away the cups. But, you know, the team that he put out there, it's a nice mixture of players that need minutes, young lads coming through, and a couple of experienced heads in there. Some of them done well. Ethan Nwaneri, you know, to obviously note. Some of them not so much well. And the finger I'm pointing there would be naturally Raheem Sterling. I'm sorry, mate. But, all right, yeah, I'll hold off. I'll hold off. But yeah, you know, it's a little bit disappointing. I won't go in any further at the minute. But look, the game as a whole yesterday, it delivered me really absolutely nothing I didn't expect as a whole. I expected Arsenal to win comfortably. They did. I expected Arsenal to put a strong enough team out, and they did. I expected Ethan Nwaneri to show Arteta, look, mate, I'm here. I'm ready. Can you please start me? And fair dues. You know, a little bit annoyingly, you know, I expected maybe to be a little bit more pleasant on the eye. But look, it doesn't bother me that much because we won. You know, it would have bothered me probably if we'd have scraped through 1-0 a bit more. But when we win, I can sort of accept maybe that we're not the invincible Arsene Wenger side that ripped teams apart. But you know, look, it's a pleasing win, ain't it? And even more sort of pleasing as well, before we move on, is that we've now got a draw at home to Crystal Palace. And, you know, with all due disrespect, no disrespect, sorry, to Crystal Palace, I expect us to probably put a bit of a stronger team out there. Maybe.
Good point. Yeah. Out of the draw last night, right? When I looked at the teams there, I thought, I don't want them. I'll take Palace. Are you happy with it?
Look, I'm very happy with it. You know, this is, like I said, with no disrespect to Palace, this should be a win. we you know, if we're thinking, oh damn, you know, we've got Palace at home here, then wow, then we just completely do not believe in this team whatsoever. We've got this draw, and we should be thinking, who are we going to get in the semi-final? That's, you know, I'm not saying, you know, that should you know, take things for granted, but let's just be honest. We should be beating Crystal Palace at home. I've said it sort of a few times that, worrying within mind that Mikel Arteta likes to throw these cups away, I actually think in order to lift this cup and get some success that we haven't had since 1993, that we probably do need a nice, easy draw. Manchester United-esque 2 years ago when they were drawing League One teams all the way pretty much to the final. That's what I think that we need here. And so far, you know, I expect us to get into a semis. From that point, I'm sorry, I expect us at this point that we're favourites now. Manchester City are out. I'm sorry, Liverpool are, you know, they're at the top of the league or second in the league. They're having a good season, yes, but we showed against them with a pretty depleted squad that we can still match them. Now, when we, you know, when that semi-final, if we get into it, does come and we draw Liverpool, I expect more players to be back, and I expect us to beat Liverpool. And if you expect us to beat Liverpool, I expect us to be favourites for this competition. So, you know, from this point, if I'm being totally honest, it's a failure if we don't win it. We should be getting to this and winning it. And do you know what? Mikel Arteta might thank his lucky stars if we do win it, because if we have a bit of a drop at the end of the season, go out of Europe early, this might save his bacon. You know, this competition.
It would actually. I think it would. I'm just doing some of these comments, mate. Pete, just don't quit. You truly care about Arsenal, regardless of your view on Arteta. True, mate. I'm thinking about doing a revamp of the channel. That's what it is. Most people just clickbait to try and become celebrities and use our club to do so. Facts. Well said, Pete. Kenny, interesting. I meant to say this to you. People were saying last night on the fan cam in the comments, you look very ill after.
Me?
Yeah, because Lee put my fan cam. He's got your name.
Oh, you know what's that? You know, it's funny to say that because. What happened is what happened with the fan cam is that he sent two to me. He said one with my name on it and one with your name on it. So I eventually got the right one. But yeah, it's to reiterate what Aaron says. You know, it's a very good opportunity to win this competition. Great opportunity because of if you go by league position, we're the next cap of the rank in terms of being favourites for the competition. You know what I mean? So, me myself, I would 100% expect us to beat Crystal Palace. One thing though, never, ever, 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 ever underestimate Crystal Palace, because let's not forget they're not in Europe.
Yeah,
if results pick up for Crystal Palace, then they might try and take that competition seriously. You only have to go by their result against Aston Villa. If you were to say to me who would have been the favourites for that game, you'd have said Aston Villa because they're smacking form. But Crystal Palace are one of those teams on their day, if they get their act together, and your intensity levels are not at the main optimum, they're the team that can catch a cold. You know, don't get me wrong, Crystal Palace haven't beaten us for about going on about, was it 3 years? 2022. When they smashed us at Selhurst Park. Yeah. But they give us a few tonkings at Selhurst Park and at the Emirates. So we need to kind of be don't underestimate them. You know, they haven't got Alicia, but I still expect us to go through. And then the semi-finals, you can get anyone. You know, you have to assume Spurs are playing Man United. Man United might beat Tottenham. Tottenham might beat Man United. But that's a potential semi-final. And Liverpool will beat Southampton. And Newcastle got Brentford. Brentford might win. Newcastle might win. So the thing about it is that the reason why you've got to beat your optimum level. You're not, for the first time in about, was it 16 years or 14 years, that it's an all Premiership. All Premiership. Quarterfinals. So the way I look at it is anyone can beat anyone. And, for teams like Brentford, Crystal Palace, even Southampton, this is probably their best chance ever for years to get a Wembley. So they're going to be really motivated. Arsenal can't underestimate Crystal Palace. You know, the Man United and Spurs game, Man United will want to sort of get revenge because of what happened at Old Trafford earlier. And then Southampton got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose against Liverpool. And then obviously, like Brentford, Newcastle. Brentford got to semi-finals 3 years ago. Good chance for them to sort of go one better. So big games. Can't wait for them.
Well, now, before we move on to the next two games, actually, I was going to bring up. The one thing that disappointed me last night was 3-0. We're looking good. They're not really doing anything to us at all. And he brings on Saka. Kenny, what was the point of that? What was the need? We were in trouble. We were looking good. You know, Preston had pretty much given up by then. Why bring him on? Why risk him when we got Newcastle away?
Only Mikel will know that. You know, maybe I can if I wanted to be like devil's advocate for Mikel and devil's advocate for common sense, I'll say for common sense, what's the point? The game's won. You're not going to learn anything. You already know what Saka's going to do. But devil's advocate is, well, what about the situation with Mikel where you know Saka hasn't been fully. He's missed a couple of games. He probably wants to get some sort of match sharpness in because of the fact that we've got a big game against Newcastle, which he's going to start, and he's going to captain the side. That's the only explanation I can think of because I didn't agree with it. But then again, he brought on Kai Havertz as well. I didn't particularly agree with that either.
No need.
But it just shows you if you want to sort of like play devil's advocate and you want to, give Mikel, some Blue Peter badges. At least he's taken the competition seriously by getting his big guns on. One of the things that really used to get up my nose about Arsene Wenger is that he played the kids, but when it came to playing the top team, he said, "Oh, it's the League Cup is the kids' competition." We played Chelsea. Mourinho's Chelsea, where they had the big goal, they had the best, they had second goal, they had a full team out, and he went and played the kids in that final. I'll never forgive Arsene Wenger for that.
No,
maybe
Drogba ripped us apart, didn't he? Absolutely ripped us.
He went 1-0 up. And
Took
then,
the piss out of us, he did.
Yeah, and so it just shows you one thing. At least he's taking it seriously. At least he knows that he needs a title.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, when you were doing a watch along for it, right? I was doing a watch along for it, right? I was like, when I saw Saka coming on, I thought, what are you doing, man? Yeah. You don't need to bring him on. We've got a big away game this weekend, right? And then after that, we're away into Milan. So we need these players. You know, let's put it right here. Going away to Newcastle is never an easy day out, right? It's one of the greatest away days ever, in my opinion. Probably one of my favourites. And we've got a player who, to my mind, is still not fully fit. You know, why risk it? Why? If he's got another, I don't know, problem, then he's out.
Yeah.
And we need him.
Yeah, well, you know, he overplays him sort of anyway, and I just think that the kid's come back. He couldn't last the full 90 minutes against Liverpool. I think we all knew he wouldn't. The last thing we all wanted to see is a couple of days later him come back on the field. What I was sort of worried about, and I said it on my watch along, I didn't want, say, Preston players to go, right, look, we're 3-0 down here, the game's done, and just start getting a little bit spiteful, And by that I mean, if Saka, say, beat his man on the right side, the player just boots him out the game. That for me was just a little bit worry. You didn't want to start seeing some people get a little bit salty. Big up, Matty. Getting a little bit salty, and maybe just, where they think, right, I'm not going to get the ball here, but I'm going to take you out anyway. Things like that is what derails our season, because if something silly like that did happen, and then Bukayo Saka gets out again, and he's out again for these Inter Milans, the Newcastles, the Chelsea, we're all now absolutely going to be hammering at Mikel Arteta if Saka was to get injured. Why put himself in that sort of scenario? We didn't need Saka to come on and win us the game, and we certainly didn't need him to be on the field as a possible reoccurrence of any sort of injury that he did or didn't have. He was just almost asking for it there, making that substitutions, and almost similar as well with Thomas Partey. We've seen this geezer break down time after time. He's like the AA, and I'm thinking, why are we bringing this fella on? You know what I mean? He does not need to be on. These are the players that need to be managed, absolutely managed. And how you do not manage them is by bringing them on in unnecessary games and going, there's 30 minutes, Thomas Partey, to be out for the rest of the season. Saka, you may or not have a little niggle, but you might have a little niggle after this game because someone's kicked you out of spite. Now you're out for the next 3 difficult away games. And we've seen what we're like without Saka against Bournemouth. Crap. We need him for these games more than ever. Not 3-0 up against Preston North End away. Come on, it's that sort of part of the game is where I've sort of always said it plenty of times. Mikel Arteta is possibly the worst in-game tactical manager I've ever seen in my life because he does things like this. Do you reckon Pep Guardiola's, your Mourinho's, all of these players, do you reckon they'd be bringing their injury-prone players on 3-0 down whilst they're coming up from one of the trickiest periods of the season? Of course they wouldn't, because they've got a bit of common sense. And things like that, yes, they got through with it, so we don't have to give it much heat. But we have to talk about things like that because it could have happened, and no one would be surprised if we did see Thomas Partey break down. You know what I mean? These are the players we need to be taking off or not bringing on, not or leaving at home, whatever. Not bringing on. It's a bit of silliness for me, Jez. And something I hope he learns about quick because it could have been a very different sort of reaction if a Saka and a Thomas Partey got injured, because Thomas Partey's actually been, from the 3 midfielders, he's actually probably been the better one. Declan Rice isn't looking as great as he started last season. Mourinho's just come in and he hasn't been pulling up trees. Let's face it, he might need a bit of time, whatever. He still hasn't. Thomas Partey's been the best one in there. He's the last person that we need out at the minute. Don't leave him at home. Leave him at home. Or if you're going to bring him to keep him in the squad, just leave him sat on the bench. We did not need him in the game. We did not need either of them.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I was really a bit annoyed about it. Quite annoyed, actually. Matty, big up to you, man. Thanks for joining.
Afternoon, everybody. Evening, everybody. How y'all doing?
And I was going to say, I'm not clickbaiting. I don't know where Lee is. He's probably fallen asleep. I've no idea. he was going to join us, but I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. What can you do? Matty, you did the watch long with Lee yesterday. Were you surprised when Saka came on?
I was extremely concerned. Is what Aaron was saying. Everybody was saying, well, why is he coming on for what? 3-0. I mean, that's when you go to whoever the lowest, the youngest on the bench, bring the next youngest person on, let them get some experience. The game, we were in total control of the game. It wasn't nothing that that even required. Bringing a player on who we know that we already know that he's dealing with injury. Yeah. And then you're going to bring him and put him in a situation where you're basically asking for it to happen. It's the fact, it shouldn't even been a thought. He shouldn't even been dressed to play yesterday. He should be getting ready for the game on Saturday, Yeah. This is the stuff that I talk about when we talk about Arteta and his man management and his inexperience. This is the kind of stuff that will bite us in the behind. Luckily, I think I said at the end of the broadcast yesterday, I was glad nobody got injured. We was able to get out of that without a problem. I mean, y'all saw what happened over at the City game with Savio. So, I mean, that could have easily been Saka last night. Yeah. So, Arteta, in order for him, because there are no other reinforcements coming in this team. And I don't know if y'all cover Odegaard or not, but that's not don't fall for that. Please don't fall for that. Yeah. Because we're still hanging on by a shoestring with our players, and we've got to try to get through the next month, 2 months technically, until January. I doubt they're gonna really do anything in January. So we got to try to make do with what we've got, and we can't be affording to injure these players and put them out because so we hadn't got the injury yet. That's going to be the 6-7 month injury yet. And I'm telling you, if he keeps going on like this, playing with fire, we're going to wind up getting burned after a while. Mm-hmm. So for me, I don't know why he brought him on yesterday. I just, for me, it's just in his head, he has a certain way he wants to do things and he just sticks to it. He's stubborn and it shows up a lot. So.
True. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Kenny, Sterling.
You know the thing about Sterling. I was watching a game, and there's no doubt in my mind he's worked his nuts off. He worked his nuts off yesterday. He was desperate to score. And what I say about him, Sterling, is I don't know. You look at him and Jesus, and you think it's like, how to say? When someone's lost something in them, a boxer loses that drive, or a player loses that yard of space, but they're so desperate to get back to the player they were before. And I look at Sterling and I see him. I see a player that is desperate to get back to those levels of the Euros 2020 and those years at Man City. And I just think that I'm just resigned to thinking I can't see him getting back to those levels, and it's not actually nice to see. But unfortunately, we can't afford to carry him. But we just have to stumble along, give him half an hour here and there, and if we can if he's involved in 38 games, if we can get 10 good games out of him, that'd be an achievement. That's how far his stock has fallen. I don't think Mikel, despite as well-meaning as he is, I don't think Mikel can get that Sterling of 2020 back. I think it's gone. I really think it's gone.
I think that's gone in the cupboard, mate.
Yeah.
Lee apparently is on his way. I knew he said I fell asleep. Well, I don't blame him, to be honest with you, the amount of hours he puts in. But I'll come to you, Matty. Sterling, he's done, man, isn't he?
This is why I've been on this tirade all year long with Edu with this transfer window, because that is a classic example.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I heard everything Kenny said. Kenny said he worked his socks off. He worked hard. We need players with end result now. How long have we heard? We got players to work hard, do a job. These players are done. Jesus is done. Sterling is done. They're done. There's nothing else to talk about. That the last shot Sterling had last night summed up every last bit of the last few years of his career. Point blank range, couldn't score. And we need players that can score. We've got to have players that can score. And I'm sorry. He is not what we need at this football club. The loan needs to be once he needs to be sent back to Chelsea. Don't even think about bringing him in. Jesus needs to be moved on. Jesus needs to be moved on immediately, because he
did score.
He scored, but I mean, Jez, let's I think you know what I'm about to say. I think you know what I'm about to say. This is Preston, and if he's scoring against Preston, and if that's all he can score, then that's about where he needs to be at. So we can.
It's a bit Nwaneri, Nwaneri scoring those goals against Oxford United in the FA Cup. But hey, yeah, I get what I'm just taking the piss.
Yeah.
Aaron, Sterling, give me your view, man.
Oh yeah, I didn't want the transfer from day one, and I say every time I talk about Sterling on stream, he said that we haven't seen the best of him yet, but we haven't seen anything of him yet. That's the reality of it. We haven't seen a single thing. We've seen him score a goal. Was it in the last round of the cup? Wow, big deal. Was this geezer cost Chelsea and Manchester City a massive sums of money. Like, what is that? His level, is it now? For me, I can sort of get where Kenny's coming from, and he's sort of saying, he comes in and works his nuts off. So would I. I'd come into the squad and work my nuts off and all yesterday. I would have, but I'd have done exactly what Raheem Sterling as well. I wouldn't have produced because not good enough, and that's unfortunately where I think we are with Sterling. Now, to sort of touch on something that sort of Matty said as well, is we need someone who's going to come in and give us some end results, because this squad, we're getting a few injuries, which is fine. You're going to get injuries for the season. We're frustratingly getting a lot of suspensions. And we haven't got a big enough squad anyway because we didn't do what was required in the summer transfer window. We cannot afford passengers. We absolutely cannot. This squad cannot afford passengers. We needed a Calafiori to come in and hit the ground running, Mourinho to come in and not get injured for 2 months and hit the ground running. We needed a Raheem Sterling of 2020, and we haven't. We've got the 24 version, which is a significant downgrade on that. The squad needs players like these to come in the league games and do something, and he's not doing that, Raheem Sterling. I'm just sort of looking forward to the end of May. If he lifts the pot with Arsenal, good luck to him. Fair dues. He'd probably consider that a successful loan. But from then, let him be Chelsea's problem again. He's just not for me. He's coming in. I sit there and I think, has he done more than Reece Nelson would have? Probably not so far. So it's not a win for me so far. Not at all.
No, that's a good point you brought up, because Christopher said earlier, Jez, do you think we should sign in January? Well, at the end of the day, we need to do something, because at the end of the, I'm sorry, I think, I don't know, I'll get your views on this one, Kenny, and then Matty. To me personally, I'd send Sterling back to Chelsea, if you want my honest opinion. I don't think he's going to level up, and all right, we're not paying his full wage. God help us if he were, for what we're getting. All right, he hasn't had many starts. I think at the end of the day, I don't think Arteta really wants him.
I think what he's foisted on him, but I think the thing with Sterling is that depends on the agreement. If the agreement is to the end of the season, then you can't send him back, and Chelsea can't get him back, no matter how many injuries are getting. Let's not forget that Maresca's basically said he's not part of his plans. Mikel's been like I said, persuaded to say he's part of the plans. But one thing about Sterling is that the same theme that I've been using, in other shows, and the theme's always rotation. You're going to have to rotate, and Raheem Sterling is going to be one of those players who are going to have to be involved. And you just have to, as I said before, how many games he plays, with him and Jesus, you've got to be thankful for small mercies, because you think I've resigned to the fact, as I said earlier, that if he plays 35 games or 38 games, if I can get 10 good performances out of him, I'll be happy, because that's just desperation. He's the Father Time's caught up with him. Maybe he started football. Maybe he's burnt out because he played from the age of teenagers. I've seen it happen with loads of players who start young, and by the time Michael Owen is a fine example, isn't he?
Good after the Saka as well.
Michael Owen, a fine example, battered, and by the time he done his army the second time, let's face it, by the time he was 25, 26, finished.
The problem is, though, Ken, is I can't even foresee us getting 2 good performances out of Raheem Sterling, let alone 10. He's not done anything yet.
No, there's enough. Depends how you measure the good performances. If he gets the odd goal here and there, you take it. If he somehow has creates a few assists here and there, you take it with both hands, because you're not expecting much. And the same with Jesus. The fact is that he's as far away from the manager's faults as ever. He's not effective. Didn't really score goals, and there's a reason why City were more than happy to take our money for him and Zinchenko.
Fact.
Yeah.
We weren't taking Rodri and De Bruyne from him, were we?
No, that is. Lee, thanks for joining, mate.
Sorry for my lateness, mate. I thought I'd go and have a little lay down. 3 hours later, here we are.
Don't worry about it. You put any hours in, my friend. You touched on I thought a very valid point last night when I did the fan cam review, right? I want to get your opinion on this before we move on to the weekend game. You said about Saka. I was critical why he brought him on. I thought it was ridiculous. No need to. You may have a very good point in the fact that, is it something in his contract? Do you think that's? I wouldn't be at all surprised, to be honest. With this,
it wouldn't surprise me one bit. We've seen this before with Bellerin, with Xhaka.
Yeah.
And he's so important to our team. Whether we rate him as highly as some of the other people in our fan base is irrelevant. He does get output. Yeah, and he scored against Liverpool the other day. Look at the goal he scored against Liverpool. Yeah, but at the same time, in that Liverpool game, I said to you, Matty, and Swallow, 28 minutes into the second half, I said, is he still on the pitch? I ain't seen him. Yeah, and then somebody in my chat said, yeah, he's had 3 touches in the second half. It was like, so why, if we can't see that he's on the pitch at that time, why aren't the manager taking him off? And it was at that point, yeah, like we were winning the game, I think. And then when it went 2-2, he took him off. Yeah, I don't know what it is about that particular player, but he seems to get more of, I don't know, more of a rushing back into the team than any other player. And this manager loves to rush players back into the team, but he does it with him more so than anyone. He seems to be the only player in our team that doesn't get dropped. And he seems to be the only player in our team that plays nearly 90 minutes of every game, whether we're 3-0 up, 5-0 up, 1-1, playing a game last night where we were 2 or 3-0 up when he came on. And it's like, I really understand why he's on the pitch. I was going mad, mate, when he came on this day, because you're playing against different opposition that are lower down the football spectrum. Yeah, at any point, we see it last night with 29. He got wiped out at one point. And again, why was he on the pitch? Why was Thomas Partey on the pitch? Yeah, we were coasting the game. Yeah, they didn't do anything. Yeah, we could have brought Josh Nichols on and played him at right back. That's his position. Instead, he let him travel all the way to Preston, sat him on the bench, and brought Thomas Partey on to play him at right back. That makes no sense to me. And I can understand why so many of these young players get the ump and leave. Yeah, and with Saka, for me, there was no reason to bring him on, mate. There's got to be something in his contract that says if he's fit, he's got to play.
I think you're totally right, actually.
Or a certain amount of games he's got to play.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be at all. And whoever's put that in his contract, well, very clever people, because I just think it's nonsensical. But
very, very quickly as well. Sorry, Jonathan says maybe it's because he needs to build up fitness again. I disagree, Jonathan. Yeah, the guy's already fit. I know he's been out for like 4 games or whatever for club and country, but we see straight off the bat the other day against Liverpool, he looked wicked in that first half. Yeah, but he looked worn out. Yeah, so in that instance, for me, why bring him on and try and boost him up again for another 45? Just leave him. Just let him have that fresh break, yeah, of a whole midweek game off, and then go again at Newcastle. Light training, don't overwork him, because he's already physically very strong. Like, we see the way he holds players off. For a short lad, he's not Kenny Ken size, is he either? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he might be Kenny Ken size in terms of like height, in terms of Kenny's width. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's a very strong lad. Yeah. And I don't feel like playing him the other night for 30 minutes or whatever it was. I don't even know how many touches he had in that game, because he barely touched the ball in that as well when he came on. But it's like, what's the point in doing that? I don't see how that brings him up to an extra bit of fitness. Right? Because the guy's played nearly every minute of every game this season with club and country. So he's already fit. He just needs to have that game off, in my opinion. I would have took him off at half time the other day, even though he was the best player on the pitch first half. Yeah, and then I would have not played him yesterday. Yeah, that way he's had a game and a half off. He can rest up. He can sit at home. Yeah, put his feet up. Yeah, and then go again at Newcastle 100. But I don't know. I don't know.
I totally agree with that. I just thought it's nonsensical what happened. But okay, we move on. We're away at the weekend. Newcastle United, St James's Park, fabulous place to go. Silly time that we got to be there. Why? I don't know the Premier League, why they and the FA do this. You know, it's the longest trip for a London club up to Newcastle, and you make it a midday kickoff. Lovely. Thanks very much. Because those Arsenal fans got to be up silly o'clock, get into King's Cross, or if they're going by own transport, good luck to you. Stupidity, if you want my honest opinion about it, but that's the way it is. Kenny, tough game.
It's a tough game, but you know it evens itself out. Because I heard what you said, but let's not forget what we did to Newcastle last year. What the Premiership did to Newcastle. We played Newcastle at 8:00 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So you think about it. You know that's the Premier League. I think. As long as the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So 4:30 kickoffs, 5:30 kickoffs, and obviously your 8 o'clocks occasionally on a Saturday or a Sunday are here to stay, because the Premier League, you know, I think certain board members of the Premier League, especially foreign owners, would like us to play evening games at 8 o'clock, evening Saturday and Sunday games at 8 o'clock. I'm convinced of it because they see how it works in France, Spain, and Italy. You know, have you ever seen in Italy a 3 o'clock kickoff game in Italy or Spain? I can't think of one. Lee, you know, because you live in Spain. You know, I mean,
No,
I say it respectfully. It's a shock to see the new camp in daylight because obviously the new camp.
to be fair, sometimes they do like a 4:15 on a Saturday.
Yeah.
They'll do like a 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
2 o'clock and 3:15 and stuff like that. They do weird times out here, to be fair. It's very rare that all the teams are playing at a set time on a Saturday. They stagger them over the whole weekend.
Well, so that's the thing with the end of the day. It's a TV deal. The end of the day, I hate it as a fan, but as if I was to be like a businessman, and I'm no businessman, I wouldn't be happy if I'm paying millions and millions of pounds in TV money not to get a primetime kickoff. Sorry, if NBC spend a lot of dough on the Premiership highlights, and they promote the hell out of these games as well. I've seen it when they have road shows where they may go to a city in the United States before a big Premiership game, and half of them are wearing Arsenal shirts, the other half will be wearing Tottenham shirts. So if they're paying all that money and promoting the hell out of that game, they actually want to be able to see those games at reasonable time. So I'm all for that. But in terms of Newcastle itself, I said it on Lee's show, I said it on Dan's show. If you think you've seen shithousery and you think we're good at shithousery and dark arts, you've seen nothing yet because these are the masters of it. Newcastle, trust me, Nwaneri is going to be looking for an Arsenal idiot. Gordon's going to be diving left, right, and centre, any part of the pitch, but preferably the penalty area. Dan Burn is going to be like a rash, doing all sorts of like skullduggery. And that crowd, trust me, mate, if we don't keep 11 men in that field, we're going to get beaten. And that's why it's important. If we keep 11 men in that field and bite our tongues, we've got a good chance of winning it because Newcastle lost their last 2 games. Isak's, obviously, he's scoring goals, but they're still, they've still got a bit of missing. They're not the team they were 2 years ago, you know what I mean? Still something missing. And I think that it's a good opportunity for us.
I'll ask you this thing, Kenny. I'm going to throw this spanner in the engine. If we lose at Newcastle away at the weekend, I'll ask the same to Aaron, Matty, and me. If we lose at Newcastle, is that the season done?
Not necessarily, but not necessarily. But if we lose to Chelsea, the reason why I say not necessarily because there is a game I think next month where it could even itself out if we stay on the coattails of Man City because they're playing Liverpool. That game where they could take points of each other, that could even itself out. However, that's dependent on us winning our next 2 games. If we don't win our next 2 games, and Man City, and Liverpool keep on winning, and then they even themselves out of a draw, then them dropping points are irrelevant. We have to win. We have to win. A point's no good. A win on Saturday is essential. If we don't win on Saturday, then we're well, it's not me. I say this is me. You have to say. Oh, sorry, Jez. You'll have to say that we're playing for 3rd place, and it's after 12 games. We're going to need a lot of sleep, in my opinion, if we don't win our next 2 games.
I think so, Aaron.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aaron. I'll come to Lee and Matty. Newcastle away, tough place to go. One of my favourite places to go, though. I have to say, it's brilliant. It's not just it's the city. I love it. It's brilliant. It's got a buzz about it. And if we lose, do you think that's pretty much our title challenge gone?
Look, mate. If I'm being totally honest with you, I already think it has. If I look over the last 2 seasons, we couldn't beat Manchester City over 38 games for starting of the season at par. I don't know why we should think that being 5 points behind after 9 games it'd be any better. Do I think Manchester City, especially when they get to January, they go on a 19-game run where they win 18 and draw 1, which means essentially we've almost got to close 5 points between now, and the end of December. Do I think we're going to do that against Manchester City? I absolutely don't. They come into a new animal at the end of next season. Look at what we've done. We had a fantastic run towards the end of last season, and it still wasn't good enough. And I don't think we're going to better that. Now, the problem that we've had again is, I'll come back to just before the international break, we had Bournemouth. Look at what we've done there. We really needed, with this run of fixtures that happened to have Liverpool, Newcastle away, Chelsea away, we needed that win there, and we didn't get it, because that win there would have probably been able to afford us that little draw against Liverpool, and then we go again here. We're already so far behind, and as we've sort of seen going into the Newcastle games before, in the last couple of games, it's extremely tricky. It's something that we've all known anyway over the years. Great atmosphere, great fans, very tricky team to play against, especially in their own ground. I'm sorry, I just sort of can't see us going there. If we go there and somehow manage to get a win, do you know what? I'll take my hats off. Fair dues, because it's a great result. And let's get it right. We absolutely need to win. Now, maybe some people say I'm being a bit cynical by saying it's already over now. That's all good. That's just my opinion. But for the people that don't, if we draw, we're definitely out. I just cannot foresee us then getting, coming back with 7. If we lose, surely it's definitely out. Of course, I want us to sort of stay in it, but just sort of what I said, Man City, they go into a different animal mode, didn't they? In January, they just storm 18, 19 wins. So I just think we've got such a minimal sort of time to close this gap. And look at Man City's next couple of games. They're very, very, very winnable games. Look at ours. We're gonna do well to go up there and beat Newcastle. And I just sort of hope we do. But it's going to be tricky. That's for sure. They're going to make it really difficult to us. And like what Ken said, to sort of nudge on it as well. I think one of the hardest things is going to be able to keep 11 men, because if we get a man sent off, I mean, they might as well just turn the telly off, because we know what's going to happen. It's going to be a tricky one, mate.
Matty, it's always a tough game up there. We've gone up there in the years gone by and had great results, because let's be honest, back in the day, they weren't a great team. They've improved. They're looking a little bit more solid. I fear that if we go up there and we do get another injury, like Timber or Saka, we're going to be in deep trouble, man. And we don't need that, because after that, next week, we got Inter away. Yeah. So, mate, give me. What do you think about it? Do you think if we worst get a draw, at worst?
I don't think the season will be over, but it won't look good. I'm gonna tell you what you are gonna see on Saturday, and Kenny's told y'all all week. For those who listen, the dark arts, the true dark arts will be on display for everyone to see on Saturday. How does this team deal with the dark arts when it's on them? This is going to be the question. See, we're going to get a lot of questions about this team and its credentials this year. This is also a team we can see in the Carabao Cup if we move on out of the next round too, by the way. I think they're still in it, if I'm not mistaken. So, we're getting ready to find out how serious this team is. Yeah, we went toe-to-toe with Liverpool last weekend. But where did we drop the points at last year, gentlemen? We dropped points against Newcastle. We dropped Chelsea. We dropped them again. We dropped the points against the other team. Wasn't the biggest of the biggest. It was these games like this. They're gonna have to come out, and coming off of a draw last week. For me, they really need a win this week. We don't need to start drawing 2 and 3 games in a row, because draws after a while start to hurt just as worse as losses. Because we need to be able to gain a foothold. But I expect this game to be physical on Saturday. I expect Newcastle to come in like a house on fire, because they're coming off of 2 losses back to back, and they've got to find a way to start winning. They're going to find themselves in trouble. And I just think that we've got to be more consistent in order for us to even stay in this discussion of a title picture, because we're what is it, 5 points we're off? Is it 5? 6 already, 5, 6, something like that. You know, you start dropping points, man, and now it's, you know, I asked Lee this question the other night. We were up, and how many times have you seen Arsenal under this manager walk down a team? You know, because when you get to that scenario, every game's a pressure game, and we know how he operates when it's a pressure game. You know, we have teams that do jobs for us, and when the pressure's on for us to respond, that's when we usually crap the bed. So for me, we need to stay consistent and just try to kind of hang around there for a little while and hope, you know. And games like the games on Saturday are games that we have to win. I mean, we have to win. You know, a draw is not, you know, a draw, you know, it will hurt us, but at the same time, it's just not the optimum outcome that we should be looking for at this stage. We need wins.
Fact, Lee. Same to you, my friend. Ask, you know, do you think if we get up there, you've been there, you know what it's like. It's a tough day out, especially travelling up there for the fans, etc., etc. It's a great venue, it's a great city, but the game in that stadium, they're a relentless fan base. They never shut up, and if we lose that game, I think we could be in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think we'll win it anyway, Jez, if I'm honest. And like Matty just said, when are we ever chasing anyone down and actually succeeded in doing it? Like we haven't been in that position under this manager. Yeah, we haven't. Like we've not been the ones chasing. Yeah, we've been the ones that have been sat at the top and bottling, sat in fourth and bottling. Yeah, so it's like this is going to be a new experience for this manager. How do they deal with that? Yeah, we're playing first at the weekend as well. Yeah, and I don't want to hear any excuses about, oh, it's an early kickoff and, you know, after we played in midweek and this and that. Yeah, cool. Half the squad didn't play in midweek.
No.
So I don't want to hear no excuses. So, yeah, I don't think we're actually going to win either. I can't lie. I think that'd be a draw. Yeah, they got Gordon back. They're coming off of the back of beating Chelsea the other night. Yeah, albeit Chelsea played a completely reserve team, which is just baffling, but that's their problem. But I just think the atmosphere, the early kickoff, it's freezing cold up there. Yeah, I think that, that's going to be hard work, mate. And the way we're playing at the minute as well, like in the Premier League, we're not looking good. Like we looked all right against Liverpool for 45 minutes. And then after that, it all fell apart. And the thing is, I don't think Newcastle will come out and actually have a go, like proper have a go. I agree with what Kenny and Matty are saying about like the dark arts and all of this. They're going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah, and don't be surprised if we get a red card. It would not surprise me one bit. They'll just be, Eddie Howe will be telling them, wind them up. They'll lose the red. Just wind them up. Yeah, kick them, grab them, hold them, pull them, throw them, do everything. He'll be telling them that. Yeah, we lost there 1-0 and everyone was crying about the referee and the ball going out of play. Did it go out of play? Was Gabriel pushed? Yeah, well, let's hope we have more than 0 shots on target like we had last year. Yeah, 0 last year on target.
Yeah, 0 shots last year. Totally forgot about that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be hard work. If we lose, we're done. We're totally done if we lose.
That's a great point, Lee. I totally forgot we had 0 shots on target. Big up, man. Connor, I'll be getting hold of you, contacting you, mate. I want you to do some stuff for the channel for me. I'm going to I'm thinking about doing a channel refresh sort of thing. I'm thinking about changing the name.
You're not going to call it Jez Talks Football and suck off every other club, Jez?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Seems to work for everyone else.
Scintillating.
I'll do that. Yeah,
Liverpool are dangerous and scary.
Kulusevski is world class, scary, and dangerous.
How about Jez?
He's actually playing well at the moment, though.
He is.
How about Jez Talks Bollocks? How about that? That'd be cool. Yeah, Connor, I'll be getting hold of you, mate. I want you to change that thing you did for me, Arsenal history. I'm going to change it. I think the channel needs a revamp. It's gone stale, and it needs a bit of a kick up the arse, to be honest with you. So we talk about that another time. Chris says if we don't win that, then the title is definitely done. I'm sorry to say I think so, but anyway. Before we go, I want to talk about we got Inter Milan away next week, Lee. Inter away. Interesting. After Newcastle, we can't afford to get any injuries, mate, because we're going to get absolutely striped.
Yeah. Mate, if we lose to Inter, we're in trouble in that competition as well.
Mm.
Yeah, because we're currently 9th, which is not qualifying automatically.
Nope.
Yeah, that puts us. If we what have I done here? That's Women's Champions League. Why is it? Type in Champions League standings, comes up with a women's one first.
It
Turn
does.
it in.
It does.
That's all about.
Woke Google.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Equal opportunities.
Right, so yeah, we're currently on 7 points, which is joint third. Yeah, Man City, Monaco, Brest, Leverkusen, Inter, Sporting, then Arsenal. Barcelona have got 6, Dortmund 6. There's a whole host of teams on 6, to be fair, all the way down to 16th, including Real Madrid, Benfica, so Juve. And let's be real, right? Sporting Lisbon away we have as well. Inter away. We've got Monaco. They're all above us, these teams, by the way. Yeah, every single one of these teams is above us on goal difference. So we've got to get something out of this Inter game. Yeah, because on Sporting Lisbon, I think their manager will be officially at Man United by then. I think they've told him he can stay until the international break. But we played him on the 25th of November. So they'll have a brand new manager by then. So that could be a little new manager bounce, and they're already top of the league out there anyway.
Yeah.
But Inter Milan, yeah, Inter won 3-0 the other night. I watched the second half of it. Yeah, they're not playing fantastic at the minute, but they're going to cause us a few problems, man. Yeah, they play 3 at the back. Yeah, Bastoni's doing well at centre back. He's fucking class centre back, to be fair. But DeMarco's the one we got to worry about. Matty, we were saying this the other night, weren't we? That DeMarco, their wing back, yeah, he's a problem.
We watched. As a matter of fact, we watched just about. I think we watched everybody that we've got to play.
Yeah,
we watched everybody that we've got to play. So yeah, it's not going to be easy feat.
Yeah, then they got Barrea as well. They got some decent players, man. Yeah, and you just know that we're going to see somebody like Arnautovic come off the bench and go and score. You know what I mean? Like, it's just some random players, or Darmian. Like, do you know what I mean? But they've got some good players, but they've got a lot of older players there as well. But that's going to be hard work. That is going to be very hard work. Yeah, the one that I will say that we could probably get at is Dumfries. I don't rate that geezer at right wing back. Yeah, but that's on Martinelli's side. Yeah, whereas on Saka's side, we're going up against DeMarco, who's quality. Yeah, midfield's going to be crucial for us in that game. Yeah, what does he do in midfield? Because their midfield is very, very good. Yeah, we're seeing Mkhitaryan still balling out there as well, by the way. Mkhitaryan. Like, seriously. Yeah, and this is my problem with this manager. It's like he wants to have yes men all the time at his club, which is fine. That's cool, but now win something with them. Yeah, whereas you look at these other clubs around Europe, and they've got these journeymen like Mkhitaryan, Darmian. Yeah, they're still winning stuff and being integral in the winning. You know, why don't we go and plough some of these players out of their clubs? Yeah, and say, right, do you know what? Like, I see Ashley Young the other night put a cross back in. Yeah, who was that for? It was for man, it wasn't Nap. It was what was who was he playing for? Who's Ashley Young play for?
The challenge.
Everton. He plays for Everton.
That's it.
Yeah,
the ball he put straight back in that box was crazy. Yeah, we'd never in a million years sign Ashley Young. Now, I'm not saying he's good enough to play for Arsenal, but at the same time, yeah, when you look at these other clubs here, you think, flipping hell, he's still going. And then you're seeing him doing bits for that club off the bench or starting games. Yeah, whereas I look at our team, yeah, we're buying the trash, yeah, from other clubs. You know, we're loaning the trash from other clubs. Like, why is Jorginho here? What is Jorginho doing that's so amazing that we're giving him 130 grand a week or whatever he's on? Yeah, we could have gone and got another midfielder, yeah, that's actually going to play more and be more integral to what we're doing. Yeah, I look at this Darmian fella every time I watch Inter. Every time he plays, he looks quality. Why couldn't he be a backup for us? Why couldn't he, or for somebody else in the Premier League? But the Premier League's so snobby with it that everyone has to go down this young squad route. Whereas when you watch teams like Inter, yeah, and AC Milan and other Italian teams, look at Conte's team. He's got Lukaku and Scott McTominay. Why didn't we buy Scott McTominay? Oh, no, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. Yeah, maybe he is rubbish. Well, he's balling out in Italy. Yeah, he's top of the league. With Lukaku up front.
Hey, they got foldouts with him. They got foldouts.
You know what I'm saying? But we all turn our nose up at players like this. Yeah, and it's like, maybe this is where we're going wrong as football teams in England, because we turn our nose up at these types of players. Yeah, Rafinha's another one. I don't rate any of these players I'm saying, by the way. Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes you look at these players and I think, flipping hell, like Rafinha has been linked to Arsenal enough times. And I'm like, no, he's a scrub. Now they've got
Hummels. We saw Hummels. We saw Hummels the other night. That was the other person we saw.
Yeah, I thought he'd retired. Yeah, and it's like Rafinha. I was like, no, the guy's a scrub. I haven't seen Flick's gone into Barca. Now he looks like one of the best wingers in the world. Yeah, and this is the thing with managers. Yeah, Inzaghi is going to outcoach our manager so comfortably. He's going to be pissing himself laughing. Yeah, next Wednesday you're going to see a tactical masterclass from Inzaghi, and he knows how to switch it up quick. Yeah, if it's not working, bang, he'll switch it.
I'd take him at Arsenal, Lee. We talked about that before.
Whereas our manager, he'll stand there and he'll rub his face. Yeah. He'll wait till we get punched in the face. Yeah. And then he'll make a whole house changes.
Yeah, he'll bring on Nwaneri in the 89th minute to save the game.
3-0 down.
Like that. He'll stand there. Then he'll look at AirPod Albert. AirPod Albert will go. He'll go.
Yeah, then he'll go to the set piece coach, get his thoughts on it, and then he'll just stand there. This is when we talk about people. When we talk about managerial experience, what you're going to see in this Champions League is you're going to see guys. Because me and Lee sat back the other night, we watched hour after hour after hour. I mean, we watched a litany of video the other night, and these veteran managers that's at these football clubs. They were making adjustments. They were substitutions were coming on. They were changing tactics in the middle of the game. And see, people are gonna think. I'm telling you what our fan base think. They're looking at this, and all of them say, "Oh, we get past Inter, man. We're done. We're pretty much in. You're gonna walk right into Monaco." We watched Monaco the other night, and Monaco's gonna have something waiting for you. Sporting Lisbon's gonna have something waiting for you. This is not. This format is not for the faint of heart.
You're not confident then, Matty?
Well, I think that we can compete. It's just that this manager, when it comes to tactical awareness, it's just not there. That's our big. Yeah. That's what's held us back for years. For personally, Jez, if you want my honest opinion, I think what has held us away from success is his tactical awareness, because he doesn't know how to read situations, because he's not experienced. When you like I said, when he plays Inzaghi on Wednesday, man, Inzaghi is. This game is the last thing on his mind, because he already know what he's going to do. I'll just go ahead and I know how this clown works. We'll just run this up and do this, and that's it. I mean, he's getting a job. He gets a job, and I'm gonna shut up. He gets a job out of a Mkhitaryan. Just think about this. These are players that this manager. Me and Lee went back the other night. We watched the what year was it, Lee? We watched, I think, when he was here. We watched the 77, because Saka was 77. So we watched it when he first got here. That he had wholesale players in this team. And couldn't get anything out of them. And you watch these same players, they go somewhere else. They go somewhere else in Europe. And they look reborn. Watch this now. We watched Lazio the other night. I looked at Lee.
Oh my days, we couldn't believe what we watched. Go on, mate. Tell him.
Watch this, Jez and Ken after to knock y'all socks off. We sat there, and I looked at Lee. I said, who is this guy right here? And he said, man, I don't know who that is. I said, we go look. I said, this brother here is wrecking shop. Guess who it was, y'all? Nuno Tavares. Nuno Tavares is over there at Lazio, ripping it up.
Smashing it to pieces.
We're like, wait a minute. This guy was playing with us. He didn't look like that. Oh, he's up under experienced manager. Oh, okay. But that sums it all up.
Yeah, Guendouzi balling out. This manager pinned him. Yeah, Nuno Tavares, was running up and down that left channel. Yeah, looking like a really, really good footballer. Yeah, getting the ball crossed into the box, quick little 1-2s, dropping the shoulder, taking shots from outside the box. Yeah, maybe scoring screamers. Matty paused it and was like, who the fuck is that? And I was like, yo, I have no idea, but he looks class, bro. Yeah, and this wasn't just one clip. We were watching clip after clip after clip from their highlights and that. Yeah. And we were like, nah, Matty looks up, he goes, that's Nuno Tavares, isn't it? I was like, piss off, Matty. So why is it, all these players look better when they leave? How many players? We used to take the mick out of Spurs.
It's simple.
They make one mistake, though, and then he bins them off and destroys their confidence instantaneously, doesn't he? Arteta. As soon as they do one thing wrong, right, get off, even though I've subbed you on, get off and I won't play you again. They're destroyed.
We used to take the piss out of Spurs for having players that won stuff before they went there, that didn't win anything there, then leave and win stuff. How many players has this manager got rid of? Yeah, that have gone on to win stuff when he's got rid of them. There's loads.
Look at
There's
Pepe.
literally loads.
Yeah.
Look at Pepe. We talked about Pepe the other night. Look at Pepe going up against Real Madrid, decided just giving them fits. But when he was with us, he's washed up, man. He's no good. He doesn't fit into the manager's plans.
Yep. Mate, we've seen it so many times with players that have gone. Aubameyang, he's won a league title. Yeah, Bellerin, he's won a league title and a Copa del Rey. Yeah, David Luiz, has won 2 league titles and a Copa Libertadores, I think. Yeah, well, he's definitely won 2 league titles. Yeah, Pablo Mari. Yeah, it's probably the only one that's not won anything, or one of the only few that have not won anything since we've binned him. Yeah, but there's so many players that have left this football club. Yeah, Nicolas Pepe won the AFCON. Like, do you know what I mean? They're all going on and winning stuff.
Yes, go to Masterson's 22 comment. If you can see it right there. That right there. I want you to see what he look at this. Look at this right there. Look at that. Read that and weep.
Wow.
I actually read the whole quote the other day. I read the whole quote the other day. He said he's been a sensation since he's come to our club. There ain't no way we're selling him unless it's 70 mil.
You just said it. The
sensation. Yeah, sensation. I'm paraphrasing. It was along them words. Yeah. But it's like, he's been outstanding. He's a brilliant player. Blah blah blah. But this is the thing, like he was a liability for us at times. Yeah, and he weren't good enough. Yeah, but at the same time, 7 mil. Yeah. 7 mil. That's what we flipping bought him for. Yeah, why didn't we get more money for him? Yeah, same with look at Ramsdale. We sold Ramsdale for 18 million. What? 18. We lost money on him. Yeah, this guy was the goalkeeper that was in a title race 8 points clear. Whether we think he's good or not is irrelevant. Yeah, how are they not getting more than 18 million for him? And people go, but 7 million in add-ons. Well, he ain't kept a clean sheet in any game he's played so far.
They said it was a good piece of business. That's what they said. Oh, wow, that's fantastic business.
You know what it is. You know why you got to remember what happened when we tried to get rid of Almunia. We tried to get Vubua. You say that there were offers. You know, but they were on too high wages. We wanted more money, and we ended up getting them to see out their contracts, and they were no value to us. I don't think the club this time are going to make the same risk. Because the other day, the club have been hamstrung by FFP, and that's their own fault. They push for FFP, and they now know what FFP has done. I suppose they put themselves in a situation with the amount of money they spent the season before, but it was always getting. It was all this stuff about Arsenal not a soft touch. Arsenal. It's not a case of Arsenal not being a soft touch. If you're getting £7 million for certain players who are never, ever, ever, ever even going to get a minute, even in the Carabao Cup, got to get rid. And I think that's what it was. It just shows you one thing about Arsenal. We just don't know how to put value on our players anymore. You know, let's be honest. It's gone
look as well, though, Ken. Yeah, mate. When we've actually tried selling players and got good offers for him, look at Callum Chambers. Didn't Leicester put in like 22 million for him? We said no and give him away to Aston Villa. Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You think about the times when we did have assets. I say now, what assets have we got that would going to get big money for? Back in the day, Petit was an asset, Overmars was an asset, Vieira was an asset, and then the Emirates, Fabregas, Nasri, Adebayor, we'll get big money for them because they're top. They were top players that clubs want. Now we're not producing players that clubs want. So
yeah,
and there is. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing because if they're top world class players and they're playing for us, I'd rather it be that. But if they're not, and we're not winning trophies, the only player that I was going to go for big money in our team. Saka.
Yeah, that's it. I totally agree, mate. We haven't got it anymore like that. Scott says, good question. Thank you, mate, for your super chat. Anybody go first? Anybody go first in this one? Do you guys think Arteta will walk or get sacked? Anybody go for it?
I personally think he'll walk. I think he'll walk. He'll walk away. It's going to stun a lot. It's going to stun a lot of super fans because they won't see it coming. It's going to blindside them. because he knows he's at he this is it. He knows this is it. If we don't win anything this year, he knows that that's it. So I would see him walking away. I could actually see that because he's alluded to it one time. People seem to forget that he's already alluded to. He thought about doing it.
You know, with Arteta, to be honest, Nelson may not agree with me, but I'll tell you one thing right now. Let's see if Man City coming from when Pep goes. A lot of people think, oh, why would Man City want to go for him? I'll tell you why Man City. I think Man City want to go for him because, you know, it's not against the realms of possibility that he's been groomed, that he's been told to go to that when the Arsenal job came in, and when he took advice from Pep and took advice from people he respected at Man City, they said, look, take the job, take it. It's a big club. It's your first job. I won't be here forever. You do a good job there. Who knows? You'll be well equipped to take over from me. Because at the end of the day, you think about it. If he goes to Man City, he's going to have a better caliber of player than us, and he's going to have a better facilities, and he's going to have a very good relationship with a proper director of football who will get business done and will get him the players he wants.
Hey, Kenny.
Fair point.
It's not. Let's see how much he loves the club. Because a lot of people says that he loved the club and blah blah. I'll tell you one thing, and I say it respectfully. I know there's kids watching. For you know, normally your first love is the love of your life. But for people to say that Arsenal's the love of his life, bloody hell, we must have been one good shag, Arsenal.
hey, Kenny. Hey, Kenny. The thing is that the way when you put it that way, you can just look at it. Hey, you go get on the job training at Arsenal. On the job training, he gets. Remember what I keep hollering about that he didn't have before he got here. On the job training. Well, guess what? He'd have on the job training going back to City, and then he'd have a stash of cash. They'd load him up. They give. Hey man, you got a test run. You got 800 million, so we know you got 800 million. So you've seen that before. So you got a team already lined up. That I'm telling you, I can see this man walking away from this team easily. I know somebody, people in the chat like, nah, there's no way. No, easily you can see him walking away because after 5, 6, 7 years, man, it's something's gonna have to change. Something's gonna have to change.
I think with the amount of money he's on, I don't know, man. Lee, what do you think, mate? Do you think he'd walk at the end of this season if he doesn't win the league?
If he finishes lower than second, then don't win any trophies, I think he'll go. I think he'll go. Yeah, there'll be other jobs available. Yeah, let's be real. He could have the PSG job, couldn't he? Yeah, because then they'll chop and change their managers. They're not scared of sacking managers. Yeah, so he could potentially go PSG. Yeah, whether he wants to or not, I don't know. But I think that there will be other jobs that he can get. But if you finish lower down than second, and you're behind, say, Arne Slot in his first season, Super Gooners will be out there saying, well, he inherited a better squad than Arteta did and blah, blah, blah. And they'll try and convince themselves. But, I agree with Matty. I think that he'll be the one that decides. If he finishes outside of the top 4 and don't win anything, then I think the whole fan base is turned.
Yeah.
If he finishes inside that top 3, top 4 and don't win anything, then it'll still be a massive percentage of people that want him in. But I think he'll just go. If he finishes 5th, then I think that they sack him.
Well,
mutual consent.
Super fans.
Sorry, man. Come.
Super fans are saying that as long as Liverpool don't finish above us, they don't care. Yeah, that's what I heard this week.
What's this? This is interesting. I don't know about this. Anybody know? Has anyone heard of Arsenal's new director of football, James King? Is this a wind up, or am I missing something here?
I've not heard it.
I've not heard that.
You got to go and Google him. Google him. That's what
where did he get that? Where did he get that info from?
I don't know. It's nothing I've heard of.
There's an article.
Something on that. Yeah,
there's an article. Yeah, James King to become director of operations, according to the BBC and the New York Times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's out there. This guy.
Who's James King?
It's left been vacant by Richard Garlick. So is Garlick gone then? Come to that club in the position left vacant by Richard Garlick. So he got promoted, didn't he? That Garlick. So whatever job that Richard Garlick had is the one.
Well, Bob resigned. What was his name? resigned last year.
Vinay.
Vinay.
Yeah, he got Vinay's job, Richard Garlick. So this guy's coming in to do his job then.
Lee, hold on. I'm gonna put it on back chat. Y'all can see the
hold up 1 second, yeah. This says that he is to return to the club. So he's already been at our club.
Never heard of him.
Set to go back. Fuck's sake. Let me just put this, because I have to pay for this. I ain't paying for it. Let me just put this into a website quick and I'll read the article. I ain't paying for that. Flipping, get out of here, trying to get me to pay for your website so I can read it. Piss off. We got sneaky ways around that. Right, there we go. Right, he's now set to go back to the Emirates to take up a position left by Garlick. Garlick previously occupied the role assisting legal and contractual issues before he steps up to managing director, blah, blah, blah. King's appointment has been in the works since the summer. King had been at Arsenal since 2016, where he worked on commercial deals for the legal team before moving to their football operations department in 2018. Before his exit, most recent title at the club was Senior Legal Counsel for Football Operations. What a poncy title.
Yeah, exactly.
He's also a member of the Football Association's Legal and Governance Group for women's football.
All right.
He worked with Arsenal men's, women's and academy teams during his previous spell. Garlick joined where he spent 3 years as director. Okay, cool. No, that's mad. I don't even know who this guy is. Never knew he worked at Arsenal.
Never heard of him. So basically, he's a solicitor.
Somebody in the chat on the article I'm looking at asked the question. He said, "Can he play multiple positions across the back four?"
That to me is bullshit. But I'll just do this super chat, man. Andy, thank you, man. Thank you very much. Love to see Arteta out for Christmas. Second, not good enough. Ain't going to happen, mate. It's not going to happen, sadly. Jonathan says, yes, he's replacing Garlic Head. Wow. There we go. David Ornstein last week apparently announced that. Well, I don't know. But anyway, before we wrap this up, Aaron. I'll start question here. I think this is a very good question. I'll come to you on this before we do a round robin, then we'll close it down. Question to the panel from SG. What do you think of Arteta's tactics?
Shit. Basement. Yeah, they are basement, mate. Honestly, I've been watching Arsenal, obviously, like everyone has all season, and this is his final phase, isn't it? This is how I think he wants his team to look. Mate, if we keep on playing like this, I'm going to be in Broadmoor watching the games at the end of the season, just dribbling into the screen. Honestly, it's painful at times, you know. Yeah, you know, the thing is, yeah, when it comes off and we win, that's all well and good, you know. We all want to see us win. I don't mind. If you told me we'd stink the place out and win all of our remaining games, I think we'd all take it. Let's get it right. But the thing is the way this team's set up and playing, especially without no real striker, I just think we're going to get found out a lot more. We've already been found out against Brighton. We've already been found out against Bournemouth. Already been found out against teams this season like Atlanta. There's more of that to come, unfortunately, which stems from Mikel Arteta. We are playing the way he wants to. This is his setup, it's his team. There's absolutely no outside excuses on anything. This is all down to him. And I'm just not really confident in him going forward. And almost like I wanted to sort of touch on just before we do wrap up. I've said it previously earlier. This Carling Cup could be his saving grace in terms of a job. Because look at the Champions League. I mean, we're sitting, 9th? We're playing 3 of the few next games. They're all away above us. You know, there's no real guarantees that we're going to get through in the top 8. We might get someone tricky in the qualifiers. You don't know. I'm not confident with the Champions League. The Premier League, I already think it's dusted. I can't see us making up points on Man City, especially how the animal that they turn into it. This is going to be a saving grace. And, you know, maybe his tactics might come off all right in this competition. His tactics did, because he managed to get over the line when we won the FA Cup. And we weren't playing great then, was we? You know, but we managed to just get over the line. Maybe we'll do that in the Carling Cup. But over 38 games, I just don't think it's sustainable. I really don't. And that's on him and his tactics.
Facts, Kenny. I know. Yeah, you've discussed this in the past, but Arteta's tactics, mate. I think Plan A. That's about it, isn't it?
As I said before, Arteta is regretted us playing expansive and good football in 2022-23 because he came to the conclusion that we can't win the league that way. He's scarred from what happened in 22-23. I think 23-24 hurt him because he thought, you know what, I've got my tactics right. I've got my team playing the football I want, and we still can't beat Man City. But trust me, he hasn't got out. He still blames himself for how we lost in 22-23, and we, as spectators, we suffered for it. We're never ever going to see entertaining, attractive football whilst this guy's our manager, because he feels that he got burnt trying to play like that. You just have to look at the Bournemouth game. We won 3-2 because 2 goals conceded. Then Aston Villa 2-2, 2 last-minute goals, 4-2, and then dropping points against Liverpool when we're 2-0 up. West Ham, and then 3-1, having to come back from 3-1 at home to Southampton, and then getting smashed by Brighton 3-0. Nah, he's never ever going to play it. He's never going to let that happen. So we just have to take it on the chin, man. Take it on the chin, and just hope somehow, we'll go on a run like we did, where he may let the shackles off, but can't see it happening.
I've seen people comparing him. I see Jamie Carragher comparing him to Jose Mourinho.
Really?
Yeah. In Jose's first 5 seasons as a football manager, he won a treble. He won 2 league titles. He won loads of cups. Yeah. And he was on the way to winning the Premier League. All in the first 5 years as manager. Yeah, he's closer to Tony Pulis or Big Sam. Than he is to Jose Mourinho. What an absolute disrespect from Jamie Carragher. To compare this scrub, alongside Jose Mourinho, who had done a treble by them in his first 5 years of management with Porto, by the way. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Embarrassing. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, I don't mind if I'm bored out of my box watching Arsenal, but if it has to win something. Yeah, otherwise we're bored and we don't win nothing. What's the point?
Exactly. That's the key point. And I said this the other day. Somebody came in the chat. I was doing a watch long. Jez, you watched the George Graham era. I didn't. Apparently, George Graham's football was boring. I said, yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but at least we won. That's the thing. It wasn't great football at times, let's be honest. I mean, I know everybody goes on about the 89 fantastic Liverpool. It wasn't always like that at the end of the day, because, yes, 1-0, but it was a win. Before I come to Matty, I'm just going to thank you, Scott, again for another super chat. They say defence wins titles, shows how shit the attackers are. Yeah, good point.
We've got defensive attackers and attacking defenders.
Yeah, very good point, actually.
Bit back to front, isn't it?
Yeah, very good point. Matty, before we wrap this up, man, Arteta's tactics, mate. Who's your view? You've coached. You know the stuff.
It's fundamentals for me. It's the basic fundamentals. And that's been his Achilles heel every year he's coached. We saw it in the year we were 5th, went to 4th, and then finished at 5th. We saw it when we were 8 points clear, and that was the year that should have showed everybody that that was it. He doesn't know how to manage it. Then you look at when we play in these cup competitions, the Europa League, time after time after time, when there's pressure situations, he needs to make substitutions at a proper time. Lee, we were joking the other night that the manager, I forgot what game we were watching, and it was 60 minutes on the clock. No, it was like 50, 55 or something. The game, the half had just started, and the coach was like, "Yep, come on off. I've seen enough. We don't
triple sub.
Triple sub. We were watching some game, and the guy just was like, "Yeah, that's it. I've seen enough. We're going in another direction." And they ended up winning the game. But our manager would have sat there and just waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And as soon as something bad happens, then that's when he's looking around. That's when he's twisting and turning, like Jez was doing earlier. And then we've seen it year after year after year after year. You saw it on Sunday. He was starting that same routine. When it starts getting bad, he starts the same routine. Newcastle last year, same routine. Everton, same routine. You play all these teams that we struggled with last year or lost to, same routine. Anytime we play City late in the season, beginning of the season is a different ball game. When we play them late in the season, that's when the pressure is really on. Then that's when you see the real Arteta in the situation. And he just, for me, he lacks the experience to when he sees certain situations how to perform in it. And it's cost us every single time. Every single time. If there's a game where we need to qualify to to the easier route in the next for the next step of the Champions League, he'll probably botch it because it's a pressure situation. It's a pressure game. He operates fine when everything is smooth. But if there's anything on the line, you got to qualify for something. You need this win to get you somewhere or something on that line. Then that's when he starts to freeze up, and it shows every time. Everybody in the Premier League knows that. Oh, they're gonna park the bus. It's the same routine. It's basically let's go pull a tape from last year. They don't have to pull anything from this year. They go to last year, the year before that. It's the same thing. We just consistently put it up under this manager do the same thing week in, week out, week in, week out. You watch players, and it was crazy because we watched Saka when he was younger.
Yep.
Saka was a complete different player when he was younger. And then this manager put his hands on him and completely changed the way he played, the way he looks. He almost looks unrecognizable. Martinelli looks unrecognizable. But like we stated earlier, some of these players, they get out from up under him, then they go somewhere else and they look different. Why is everybody going crazy about Ethan Nwaneri? Kenny, why is everybody going crazy? You know why they're going crazy? He didn't learn under this manager. So you put him in the team, he look completely different. He looks like something that's different than what you've seen because everybody else plays the same because they've been trained this way by the manager. So he sticks out like a sore thumb. Last night you could see it. You say, look, he's taking the people on. He's turning his shoe. He's doing stuff that we asked Odegaard. We've been asking Odegaard to do this stuff for 3-4 years. Turn and shoot. Don't look. Take the shot. Take a man on. You know. You saw last night. What you see last night, Lee, when we were sitting there watching? Sterling gets the ball. What did he do? Because he gets the ball, turns around. Instead of going to the goal, turns around and look for the pass. Because this man just told him to do that. Ethan Nwaneri comes on, and we talk about Calafiore being a wild horse. Ethan Nwaneri is the wild horse. He comes on, and I'm doing what I want to do. He's expressing himself. He's having fun. He's enjoying himself. You can see it. It's a difference in the philosophy when it comes down to players like that. A player that has not gotten the philosophy of Arteta is a different person. A player that has the philosophy of Arteta is robotic, stagnant. It's the same old, same old.
Fact. That's a good question from Edward. Jez, who would you want after Arteta? Inzaghi's my manager. I'd take him. You know what I'm saying? I'd actually take Emery back myself, to be honest with you. But, hey, that's not going to happen. Lee, would you take Inzaghi?
In a heartbeat. In an absolute heartbeat, mate. Absolute heartbeat, I'll take him. Mm. Yeah, I don't understand why we haven't. Yeah, and you see these fans here, they love to dismiss managers. That guy's won at Lazio and he's won at Inter. So go and get him. Go and give me that manager.
Lee, isn't it? This is the one. We always get the question thrown to us. Well, who would you take other than Arteta? Well, yeah, there are better managers out there, people. There are better managers. So, you know, look out there. Well, what's happening with Man United? That fella, you know, almost certain he's going to go there. He's going to lick them up, you know, and he's going to get them firing. So, yeah, sorry.
But when it comes to it, Jen. When it comes to it, though, we don't do what's required. We let Klopp go to Liverpool. I reckon we'd have been able to get Klopp before he went there. You know, we let Ancelotti go to bloody Everton. You know, we just won't. We won't do what's required. I think possibly, yeah, we probably should go for Inzaghi. Will we?
Yeah, but even if even when you say, a name like Inzaghi, but it's a farmers' league. Okay, where did we sign Arsene Wenger from? Where did we sign George Graham? Where did we sign Bruce Rioch from? Yeah. Because if that's a farmers' league, what was the Japanese league when we signed Wenger then?
That's
what are we doing there?
I've never even heard of it. Probably.
That was just you starting good.
Let alone Grandpa say, yeah.
You tell me how many Arsenal fans had heard of Arsene Wenger in the J League. I hadn't. I mean, I was pretty damn close to the club back in them days. You know what I'm saying? You know,
hey, Jez, what was your reaction, Jez, with that? What was your reaction when you first? We like, what the hell is going on here? What was your reaction?
I was like, I knew who Bruce Rioch was, right? And I was like, okay, fair enough, and let's get it right. When he bought in Bergkamp, I thought, whoa, and David Platt, I thought, wow, here we go, we're going big here now. And then he went, and then all of a sudden, this guy Wenger comes in. I thought, who the fuck's he? Never heard of him.
Arsene who?
I thought, David Dean, what are you doing? And then, hey, how long was I? Kenny, you were there.
I'm a nerd. I'm a football nerd, as you know. I knew who he was, but I knew he was because I was fascinated by his name. I said, hang on, that's a bit close to our club. I remember him because I remember him winning it. Because I remember he had Glenn Oldham and Mark Haitley at Monaco, and then he had Jurgen Klinsmann at Monaco, and then I heard they sacked him, and I thought, okay. When I heard he was coming for the club, I thought, all right, he's won something in Monaco. I didn't think anything of it because I was so pessimistic about us ever winning the league because Man United was just like a monster. And Blackburn won the league as well with Sir Jack Walker's money. So I was thinking, it's never going to happen. So I was pleasantly surprised. I think, I ain't going to lie, the first game I saw, his first full game, when Vieira came in as sub, and I saw the way we were playing, I thought, thank God we're playing some nice football. But the only time I thought we'd win the league was probably the season afterwards, where we started off on top of the league and then we fell out away and then we went on a bit of a run. I thought, yeah, this guy's God. Because I think every Arsenal fan, regardless whether you became Wenger out or not, you have to be honest. There was a time when if Arsene Wenger was on TV, you just told people to keep quiet.
Everyone shut up. Yeah,
you said it the other night, Lee. We watched the game. We watched the 0-1 game. You said it last.
It's the amount of times I just say in the household, shh, Arsene Wenger's talking. Even when I first met my wife and there was talking, I said, shh, Wenger's talking. And we all did it. Wenger was all like, we were all Wenger-ing. We all were. Yeah. And then after when we got to the Emirates, I think that's when we thought, nah, we began to hate him, which should never have happened.
Yeah, I mean, fair play. I respect you because I didn't know anything about him at all. Because back then, don't forget, we didn't have Google. We could Google it up and get all the stats and everything.
XG.
Yeah, field tilt and all that. You know what I'm saying? All that bullshit. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Kenny, shout out where we can find you, my friend.
Yeah, you can find me at KennyK1972 on Instagram. Forget me on Twitter, and I'm basically like any podcast I can get my hands on. If anyone will have me, I'll go. And obviously, you'll probably find me on. I don't know, mate. You might find me in London somewhere watching the Newcastle game, and you probably see me in a fan cam afterwards with Lee. But that's a game I'm going to look forward to. Not much boxing, bit of cricket on at the moment. England playing the West Indies in the one days, but I can categorically say I'm the only person on this panel who likes cricket.
Definitely.
Sure. I just gave you the hex. Being Halloween. Aaron, mate, your string's building nicely, mate.
Cheers, man.
Shout it out, please. What you got coming up?
Yeah, so like I've pretty much been on streams, I think every day for the last 5 or 6 days. I'm probably going to do a little live after the Newcastle game, but if I'm being honest, I'm going to have a couple of days off purely because I said to you previously off stream. My little boy said to me the other night, he was like, "Oh, why are you always on the laptop, Dad?" And I sort of started thinking about it, and what he was sort of saying was, "Oh, why are you always on there instead of paying attention to me?" So I'm going to show the family a little bit of love over the next couple of days, and then yeah, I'll sort of go again on the Monday. Do you know what I mean? Ken, yeah, like I've previously spoke to you, I'll have you on. You know what I mean? We'll have a little talk about Arsenal on mine at some stage soon.
Yeah, we've definitely got to arrange it. You know what I mean?
100%, mate. But yeah, you can find me at Arsenal X-Rated on Instagram and on Twitter. Yeah, cheers, Jazz. And again, obviously, cheers for having me on here, mate. I massively enjoy these Wednesday shows, and I'm always extremely grateful that you invite me on so regularly, mate.
No worries, man. No worries at all. Matty, thanks for joining, as always, my friend. Shout yourself out where we can find you, my friend.
Southern Gooner here on YouTube. And on Saturday, me and Lee will be, I'll be up bright and early because early start for me on Saturday. And we'll see what this team is going to do this weekend.
Hey, Matty, you forgot to mention one thing that the rest of the world are going to be talking about next Tuesday.
Yeah,
10 o'clock British time. I don't know. I can't tell you how to vote because it's nothing to do with me.
It won't be decided on Tuesday, so it'll be Wednesday or Thursday, possibly even Friday. I can just about tell you that.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure whoever loses ain't going to take the result like a gentleman or a woman.
Nah,
or a lady.
it'll be a week before we find out who won.
Christopher, I sit in the west stand on the penalty spot. As if we're kicking towards the north bank. So I'm on the west stand, northwest part of the ground on the penalty spot.
Ooh. There you go. Lee, my friend, thanks for joining, as always. I'm going to be coming to you, Lee, for a bit of advice after the show. Mate, great channels you got. Shout it out. I know you don't like it, but I'm going to ask you to do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm going live 7 minutes ago for watch long to watch Gendouzi and to watch Nuno Tavares. They're playing FC Como, Cesc Fabregas' team. So yeah, come and check out Lee Reacts. That's 10 minutes in nearly. 0-0.
Any team that lets Cesc Fabregas manages, I want the opposition to win.
Get this guy out of here, man. Yeah, no, seriously. No, but yeah, that started 10 minutes ago. So yeah, I'm going to go and watch that. The missus was supposed to be here and we're supposed to go out for dinner, but she's been caught up in traffic. So I said, fuck it, I'm working then. So we'll have to get a takeaway when she gets here.
Let's get out of here, people. Thanks for watching, everyone. And yeah, we're going to have a little look at what's going on this channel, whatever's going to happen. Anyway, we're out. People, take care. And see you later. Cheers, guys.
I've got to go.